So, guys, we know that in 2027, the ANC will have its elective conference where they are going to elect a new leadership of the party. And obviously, Cyril Ramaphosa is on his way out. And one thing that people are talking about right now, they are talking about the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa. What is the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa? And this is a very interesting conversation because I remember a couple of days ago, I was watching SMWX and they were talking about the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa, Mbeki and Sizwe Walsh. They spoke about various issues on this interview, but I want us to actually focus on the part where they are talking about the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa. So, guys, according to you, what is the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa? What is the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa? Because according to me, Cyril Ramaphosa will go down as the worst president that this country has ever had. That is what I can say about the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa. And honestly, when I look at Cyril Ramaphosa, I don't think that Cyril Ramaphosa actually cares about his legacy. I don't think that Cyril Ramaphosa cares about what the history books are going to say about him. I think that he doesn't have a heart. He has shown it in the past 8 years that when it comes to this country, he doesn't care about this country. He doesn't care about this country. And I honestly don't think that he cares what people are saying about him at this very moment.
You mentioned the president's salary earlier, and I wonder if we could move on to how you assess President Ramaphosa's time in office. I think he's been president for 8 years now, which is a very long time to be in power. Yeah, that's a whole 2-term US presidency.
Yeah.
And we had Mr. Tokyo Sehwale here, who said he thinks he's in the departure lounge because there's an ANC conference coming up. How do you assess what President Cyril Ramaphosa has done as president?
Well, I think President Ramaphosa has been a very weak president for the ANC. He's not been able first to control his own party. He's not really controlling the ANC. He's not controlling his cabinet, which is why, ministers say all sorts of things. Gwede Mantashe says one thing, the government decides we have to do something about green energy. He says no, he's going to keep burning coal, and he's still a minister despite contradicting what the government is saying. So for me, he has been, again, coming back to that word, holding operation. He's been a holding operation. I think he sees himself as weak in the scheme of things. The ANC has its own inner circles. So he feels that he's not part of the inner circle. And so he hasn't got the muscle to enforce the ANC's own decisions, because they have to be enforced. He doesn't feel he's strong enough to insist that decisions must be enforced. And so what you have is a rather hectic, chaotic government, and it becomes even more hectic and chaotic now that it's in partnership with other political parties in the government of national unity. I mean, you can see DA ministers talking about me. As a DA minister, I'm doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But he's part of Mr. Ramaphosa's cabinet. He should be speaking about what the cabinet is doing. But because he feels, well, there's nobody to stop me talking about me representing the DA, so he goes ahead and says, I was listening to one, I think it was public and works person, praising himself about doing this as a DA minister and what have you. So at the top level of the ANC and the top level of The cabinet,
Yeah.
there's lack of control.
I must say, I've never thought of it from the perspective of him not having control over some of the inner circles of the ANC. I always thought he had quite a firm grip over the party.
No, he doesn't. I mean, factions like the Communist Party, they're out there literally destabilizing the country by claiming they're going to nationalize this, they expropriate that, and X, Y, Z. So, but for example, he should be enforcing the rule, the decision that was made many years ago that all government pronouncements, except for the president, are made by the Government Communication and Information Service, by the head of the government information. This was a decision made many years ago. No, ministers, some of them, I was listening, I think, to Bladen Zimandi or something, saying, oh, I'm doing X, Y, Z as a minister. No, that should be made by the Government Communication and GCIS, Government and Information Service, not by a minister, let alone the minister himself. But President Ramaphosa can't enforce it. He just can't enforce it. But it's there. That's why this department was created. They all bypass it and they all publicize themselves. He can't control that situation.
So I think Ramaphosa doesn't care. Like I said previously, I think he doesn't care about the legacy. I also don't think that he cares again about what the history books are going to say. And in the past 8 years, I'm trying to understand what is it that Cyril Ramaphosa wanted to achieve as the president of the country. I'm honestly trying to understand what is it that he tried to achieve as the president of the country, because I remember some people are saying that Cyril Ramaphosa did his mandate to ensure that by the time that he's done, the ANC is non-existent. Some people, honestly, deep down in their hearts, they believe that Cyril Ramaphosa was there to destroy the ANC, to ensure that by the time that he's done, the ANC is no longer there. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Because as much as I would like to focus on Cyril Ramaphosa, I would actually like to focus on the people of this country. What is the legacy of South African voters for the past 30 years? As much as we would like to sit here and think about the legacy of Ramaphosa, the legacy of the ANC, what the ANC has done, what is the legacy of the people of this country for the past 30 years? And I'm saying this because I remember, guys, a couple of days ago, I was sitting with my friend and we were actually talking about what is happening in the country. Normally, when I sit down with my friends and we speak about what is happening in the country, we always speak about politics. This is the only thing that we like to speak about with my friends, the politics. And I remember one of my friends saying that, you know, Thomas, I actually appreciate the fact that every day you are on the platform and you are talking about what is happening in the country. Every day you are trying to tell the people about what is happening in the country, and it is so sad that your platform cannot reach where it needs to reach. You remember even in the last video, this is what I said, that as much as I appreciate this platform, as much as I appreciate the people who support this platform and keep telling me that, Thomas, keep pushing. Besides the fact that the people that you are trying to communicate with, they cannot get your message, but we like you to keep pushing. And he did say the same thing, that I like the fact that you are pushing despite the fact that majority of the people that you are trying to communicate with cannot get the message. But this time around, I was actually pissed off. I don't want to lie, guys. I don't want to lie, because every time when we say that, I am starting to feel like we are absorbing the people of the responsibility. I am starting to feel like every time when people say that, Thomas, Katlego, citizen consent, morning shots, thank you so much for actually speaking out about the issues that are happening in the country, despite the fact that majority of the people do not have the internet. I feel like we are absorbing the people of the responsibility by saying that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as much as I can sit here and talk about the things that are happening in the ground, as much as I live in the townships and I see most of these things that are happening in the ground, but what about the people's personal experience? Because I understand that what I'm saying cannot reach everybody else, but the same people have their own they have their own experience with the ANC. They have their own experience with the ANC. I'm sitting here and I'm telling the people about how dangerous the ANC is. I'm sitting here and I'm telling the people about how incompetent the ANC is. But the truth of the matter is that the people on the ground, even the people that cannot watch my videos, they have their own experience with the ANC. So the question that I asked my friends is that, what is it that the ANC must do before the people actually realize that the ANC doesn't give a damn about them? Because we can come to these platforms, we can have conversations in these platforms about what is happening in our own country. We can sit here and have conversations about Cyril Ramaphosa and the type of a president that he is. But the truth of the matter is that Cyril Ramaphosa is the president of the whole country, and the people have their own experiences with the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa. So what must the ANC do before the people actually realize that the ANC doesn't care about them? What is it that Ramaphosa should have done in the past 8 years before people realized that this is a terrible president? Because you can't say that, thank you, Thomas, for actually coming to the platform and speaking about how terrible Ramaphosa is. Thank you for trying to enlighten the people about how terrible Ramaphosa is. But the truth of the matter is that the same people that we are talking about, they have their own experience with the presidency of Ramaphosa. So what is it that Ramaphosa should have done before the people of this country actually realize that the ANC and the president of the ANC doesn't give a damn about them? What is it that the ANC must do? And guys, I don't want to lie, this question actually bothers me every single day. It bothers me every single day that for the past 30 years, the people sat down and watched the comrades destroy the country. The people sat down and watched the comrades destroy the infrastructure. The parents sat down and watched the comrades destroy their children's education. The people sat down and watched the comrades loot the state-owned entities. The people sat down and watched the comrades destroy the SOEs. They sat down and watched all of these things happen. They sat down and watched all of these things happen. They sat down and allowed the comrades to turn their communities into the dumping site. And they never said nothing for the past 30 years. For the past 30 years. So what is it exactly that the ANC must do before the people of this country actually realize that they don't care about them? This is the question that actually bothers me every single day. It bothers me every single day. And every time when people say, thank you, Thomas, for actually doing this platform and enlightening the people, as much as I appreciate you, I love you guys, I appreciate you guys. But at this point, I feel like we need to start holding the people responsible for the choices that they have made for the past 30 years. We need to hold the people accountable for the choices that they have made for the past 30 years. This is why I'm saying that as much as I would like to sit here and actually speak about the legacy of Sir Ramaphosa, but I would like to speak about the legacy of the people of this country for the past 30 years. The legacy of the people of this country for the past 30 years. What kind of people are we? What kind of people are we, man? You know, guys, if we lived in a sane country, I was saying this, that if we lived in a sane country, this country was supposed to be burning, man. This country would be burning right now. If we lived in a sane country. If we actually had the patriots in this country, nothing would be actually be moving in this country. Everything would have been stand still in this country if we had patriots in this country. Because right now, what is it that they can do to us before we actually react? What is it that the government of the ANC can do to the people of this country before the people can react? Because when you hear the president of the country saying that we are happy that we have over 20 million people depending on social accounts, the ministers saying that we have over 20 million people depending on social accounts, and this means that we are alleviating the poverty, we are fighting the poverty. They are fighting the poverty by giving people the grants. They actually believe deep down in their hearts, they believe that money that they are giving to these people, it is enough money to actually take care of these people, and this is the kind of a money that is taking the people out of poverty. And this is an insult to us as the people of this country. So what is it that the comrades can do to the people of this country before the people of this country actually react? Because at this point, they have done everything to us and we have not reacted. And they have done everything to us. Sit down and think about it. What is it that they have not done? What is it that they can still do to us before we actually react? What is it that they can do before we actually react? Because I think that the comrades of the ANC, they have actually pushed us to the limit to see that these people, we can actually push them off the cliff and there is nothing they're going to do. This is the type of people that we are in this country. The comrades have realized, the politicians in this country, they've realized that these are the type of people that we can actually push over to the cliff and there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing that they can do. So, should we criticize the ANC at this point? Should we criticize the president of the ANC at this point, Sir Ramaphosa, or should we actually sit down as the citizens of this country to say that we are a weak nation? We are a weak nation. This is what we must do as the people of this country. We must take a huge mirror that is going to reflect on all of us as the people of this country and put our hands to our chest and say that we as South Africans, we are a weak nation. We have allowed the politicians to turn us into the doormats. This is the type of people that we are. This is the type of people that we are. I mean, even in the country right now, if you look at the people that actually wants the change, they are a minority. The people who actually wants the change, the people who want things to change in this country, they are a minority. They are a minority. Majority of the people in this country, they are okay with everything that is happening in the country right now. They are absolutely okay with everything that is happening in the country right now. This is the reason why they keep voting the same way. They vote the same way. They vote the same way. You think that the black people are sick and tired of the treatment that they got from the ANC for the past 30 years. You think that the majority of the people in this country are sick and tired of how the government has treated them for the past 30 years. You think that they are sick and tired of unemployment rate. You think that they are sick and tired of dirty neighborhoods. You think that they are sick and tired of broken infrastructure. You think that they are sick and tired of this broken down education system. You think that these people are sick and tired of everything that has been happening in the country. Come voting day, they are still gonna vote for the same people who have actually turned their lives upside down. So when are we going to admit it? When are majority of the people in this country actually going to admit it? That we as South Africans, we are a weak nation. We are a weak nation and we are actually pathetic. When are people actually going to agree to that? When are they going to agree to that? I mean, like, it is insane, man. It is absolutely insane. Our children are going to insult us. I'm telling you, our children are going to insult us. Our children are going to sit down and say that, Dad, are you telling me that the people continue to vote for the ANC for the past 30 years despite all of these things that the history books are saying that the ANC has done? Yes. Why didn't you vote for other political parties? Why didn't you guys open a new political party? Like, our children are going to insult us, like literally. They are going to insult us. They are going to insult us because of the choices that the people of this country has made for the past 30 years. So we can sit here and actually cry and complain about the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa, but the truth of the matter is that we need to focus on the legacy of the people of this country and the choices that they have made for the past 30 years. It is a mess. It is a mess. It is a mess. You have the politicians in this country that are not even interested in fixing the nation. They are not interested in fixing the nation. And the way things are in this country, it actually works in their favor. It works in their favor. I mean, like, if you just sit down and actually observe what is happening in the country, is that the politicians and the politics in this country is that even the opposition of the ANC, they are not pushing for the radical changes that we are talking about. They are not pushing for the better education. They are not pushing for the political education in this country. Why? Because even other political parties are trying to take advantage of the fact that South Africans are, I don't want to use the word stupid, man. I swear to God, I don't want to use the word stupid. Maybe I can use the word vulnerable or gullible. I don't want to use the word stupid. But even other political parties, the reason why they are not pushing for the radical changes is because they are also trying to take advantage of South Africans. They are also trying to take advantage of South Africans because they understand that if South Africans actually get a better education, if South Africans are learned about the political education, then these people are going to start making better decisions. And once they start making better decisions, they are not going to vote for us. So they are trying to keep things as they are right now. The only thing that other political parties in this country want, they want the ANC out so that they can take advantage of the kind of a nation that we are. They just want the ANC out. The ANC needs to go out. The ANC needs to go out. But when it comes to actually educating the people about the politics, no, they don't want to educate the people about the politics. No, you cannot educate the people about the politics. You cannot give the people the better education. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You must keep promising the people the things that the ANC has given to them so that you can control these people too. This is what other political parties in this country are trying to do. But when it comes to voting day, you will see the leaders of these political parties, the representatives of these other political parties, they will be all over television speaking about, South Africans, they need to be taught the political education. South Africans, they actually need an education when it comes to the voting. South Africans, they need an education to understanding what are the implications of voting for a political party, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. You will hear these people on national television saying all of these things. But they are not going to take time out of their busy schedules doing nothing to educate South Africans about all of these things that they always speak about. So they just want the ANC out so that they can continue to take advantage of South Africans because they have realized what kind of people South Africans are. This is the reason why in this country every Tom, Dick and Harry can open a political party and actually get a vote. This is why every Tom, Dick and Harry in this country can actually open a political party and get a vote. If we had patriots in this country, I'm telling you, if you open a political party, you will know that you are going to go through it. You are going to go through it. And you look at our media. Our media, we have the worst kind of media in Africa, I think. We have the worst media in this country because even if you listen to the interviews that the media is doing with these political parties and these politicians, like they are just pathetic. It's almost as if these people are paid not to answer, not to ask relevant questions. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry can open a political party in this country, and this is why people are doing. This is why right now, when people do not have plans, they just move to politics. They just move to politics and open a political party and open a stockpile somewhere fast. And they know that we are going to get money somehow we are going to get the money. Somehow we are going to get the money because they understand that South Africans are not educated when it comes to all of these things. They know that we are not educated when it comes to all of these things. So should we sit here and complain and cry about the legacy of Ramaphosa, or should we sit here and actually re-evaluate ourselves as the people of this country and say that, guys, I mean, come on, this is a joke right now. It is starting to look ridiculous. It is starting to look ridiculous. Do you remember how many political parties we actually had in the previous elections? How many political parties do we had in the previous elections? We had so many political parties in the previous elections. It was almost impossible to keep up with all of these political parties because people have realized this. There are smart people in this country. Like, make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. There are smart people in this country that can actually see the game. And these people are saying that, no, guys, we just need to open a political party. This thing of trying to apply for the tender-based systems, this thing of trying to get the tenders and everything, it seems like a hard work. But in this country, if you open a political party and start to do rallies there and lie to the people there and there, boom, before you even know it, you are in parliament. Before you even know it, that you are in parliament. This is what is happening in the country right now. What kind of a nation are we? What kind of a nation are we? What kind of a media are we? Because if we had a proper media, these media people would actually do 1 or 2 interviews with the leaders of these political parties, and these people would quit immediately. They would quit immediately if we actually had the media that would actually sit down with these people and actually ask relevant questions and ask tough questions and force these people to answer these tough questions. But right now, when you open a political party and do an interview with SABC, man, it is a smooth walk, man. It is a walk in the park. If you are invited in Newsroom Africa, man, oh my goodness, this is a walk in the park. You know, ENCA at some point, they used to be kind of tough. But right now, the ENCA, it is a left-leaning political party, man. Right now, the ENCA, it is left-leaning, man. Like, it is a smooth walk in the park doing an interview with these people. It is a shame. It is a shame. What kind of a nation are we? What kind of a nation are we? How long are we going to allow the political parties to turn us into the doormats? This is the question. How long? How long are we going to allow these politicians who brings nothing in our lives to turn us into the doormats? How long? It is a shame, man. It is a shame. It is a shame because the ANC next, they are going to elect like someone worse than Ramaphosa, I think. They are still going to elect someone worse than Ramaphosa. And guess what? The people of this country are going to vote for that person. They are going to vote for that person. They are not even going to ask any questions about that person. They are going to say, oh, the ANC has elected Mashatile as the new president, then we are voting for Mashatile. This is how the people of this country actually operate. This is how the people of the country actually operate. So I would like to sit here and speak about the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa, but I'm sick and tired of speaking about the politicians and trying to hold the politicians accountable. Right now, we need to start holding ourselves as the people accountable. We need to start holding ourselves as the people accountable. This is the reason why I said that. I don't know, for some reason, when this person said that, Thomas, thank you so much, man, for doing this platform that you are doing, despite the fact that not many people are getting hold of that platform. I actually felt furious deep down in my heart because I said it's almost as if we are absorbing these people of their responsibility. I mean, what are these people actually saying about what the ANC has done to them for the past 30 years? What are you people saying? What are you people saying? Because I can sit here and actually speak about the things that are happening in the country, but truth of the matter is that every single person who lives in this country, they have their own responsibility and they have their own experience with the ANC. They have their own experience with the ANC. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way this time around. It rubbed me the wrong way. It actually did rub me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way because I felt like I'm trying to speak with the people that are not living in the same country as me. It's almost as if I'm a South African and I'm somewhere in Nigeria trying to explain to the people of Nigeria how things are in South Africa. This is what I felt. But when I thought about it, I said, no, man, to hell, man. To hell with these people, man. They have their own experience with the ANC. What are they saying? What are they saying? They don't need me to speak about what is happening in the country. They don't need me to speak about what is happening in the country. How long are they going to sit there and say nothing about everything that is happening in the country? How long are they going to sit there and say nothing? How long are they going to sit there and say nothing? Because right now, if you are someone who is listening to me, maybe let's say you live somewhere in the suburbs, maybe let's say you live in the farms, maybe we do not have the same experience, and I'm bringing you the experience of the townships and how things are in the townships. Yeah, fair enough. You can say, okay, I didn't know this is what was happening in the townships, but majority of the people actually live in the townships. Majority of the people live in the townships, so they know exactly what is happening in the townships. So they don't need me to tell them about what is happening in the townships because they already have their own experience with what is happening in the townships. They don't need me. They don't need me, man. What kind of people are we in this country, man? What kind of people are we? What kind of people are we? What kind of people are we? What kind of political parties do we have in this country, man? It is a mess. It is a mess. But anyway, guys, I didn't mean to rant this long. This long. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.